Good morning and happy Wednesday, you guys. So today we are back with another Tea Time Talks video. Yes, I did remember to boil the kettle. Excellent. I've also got a Nightmare Before Christmas mug today because I have a massive collection of mugs, and I thought we should get to know my mug collection over these Tea Time Talks, am I right? So anyway, I'm back today with another Tea Time Talk. I did put it up on Twitter asking what content you wanted in this one, whether you wanted something about anxiety or if you wanted something about Disney. Now, it was a landslide vote. There was about 75 of you, I believe, who wanted or 75% should I say, that wanted an anxiety talk, so that is exactly what we're going to do today. So, to get into it, because obviously I don't want this to be a really long video, and also you may hear ambient sounds because I have relatives over at the moment, so you may hear them talking and stuff like that. So if you do, that's what it is, it's people in my house. So anywho, getting right down to it. So basically, I think the biggest misconception about anxiety is that people seem to think that if you have anxiety, it means that you don't like yourself. That is not at all true. I like myself as a person. I know that might sound conceited, but I do actually like myself. You know, I'm happy with who I am. I know who I am. I've always known who I am. You know, I don't have any issues with that. It's not a case of self-confidence with anxiety. Some people it is, like I'm not gonna brush that aside because some people it is, but with me personally it's not. I am in essence a walking contradiction. I'm a very confident person. I have a lot of friends. I go out places with my friends. It's just that I find certain things difficult to deal with. Now, my anxiety started probably around 18. That's like the earliest memory that I have of having a bad anxiety attack. I've probably had them before I was 18, but maybe I just didn't know what they were back then, or like, you know, I wasn't really aware of it. So 18 is kind of the memory that I have of having like my first proper anxiety attack, and it's horrible. For anyone who doesn't suffer with anxiety, it's very easy for you to turn around and be like, you know, just snap out of it. That doesn't help, and it's not a thing that you can do, unfortunately. I wish I could just snap out of it, I really do, but I can't. And saying things like that to people are a little bit tactless, to be honest. I've had a lot of people in my life that have done that, and it's not a good feeling, to be honest with you guys. But that, like I say, that is like the first time at 18 that I remember having them. Now, when I was 18 having panic attacks, I would get up to like 8 a day. Now, you imagine having 8 anxiety attacks a day. It was exhausting. I was completely exhausted all the time. I just couldn't function properly. I still had to hold down a job because I needed to earn money to pay my bills. And I'm having to try and hold down a job and suffer with anxiety at the same time. And I think it's stuff like that that have kind of forced me forward and pushed me forward to kind of deal with it the way I do now, because I need to function. I can't just shut down, I can't just give in to it, you know. So it was a very difficult time. Over the years, I have just gotten better at hiding it. I've gotten a lot better at coping with it, dealing with it. You know, it will never truly go away, but I don't have as many anxiety attacks as I used to, which is a godsend, to be perfectly honest. I'll get maybe sort of 2 a day, maybe, if that. I mean, some days I have brilliant mental health days and I don't get an anxiety attack at all, and I love days like that. But then I always find that when you've had a really good day, you then have a really bad day, because that's kind of how it works. It's like swings and roundabouts. So if I've gone out with my friends, we've had a really good time, I've not had any anxiety attacks, and I've been absolutely fine, guaranteed the next day I will feel like rubbish and I will be anxiety cucumber again. And it's horrible. It's this constant push-pull within yourself, which is really annoying and really debilitating. So it's what it is at the end of the day, but it's definitely not a like crisis of confidence. That is definitely not what it's about. You know, my anxiety, I've identified over the years, stems from 2 major factors. Now, for me, the first one is around food. I have food anxiety, which for someone who loves to eat food as much as I do is really annoying. It's really annoying. But basically, I'm the kind of person, if you invite me out to eat, I need to know where we're going ahead of time, because I need to go online and I need to look at the menu. because I need to decide what I'm going to eat. And I know that's really weird because people are like, but how do you know if you like fancy a burger that day or if you fancy pasta that day? That doesn't come into it with anxiety cucumber here. It's just a case of that is what I will eat because that is what I have picked. So that is what I'll do. I am okay sort of with people that I've eaten with before. Like, mainly it is if I haven't eaten in front of that person before, because I have slight tics when I eat, because it's the only way that I can control my anxiety. So I have certain tics that I do, and a lot of people kind of look at you like, what the hell are you doing? And I have certain ways of doing things. So you become a little bit self-conscious of, like, you know, the fact that they're watching you eat, and I think that's what kind of kicks it off. But also, on the flip side of that is the fact that I have this morbid fear of being allergic to things. Now, I have a strawberry allergy, as you all know, which makes it incredibly difficult to breathe if I digest strawberries, if I, you know, eat them. It makes it difficult to breathe. That is one of the things that I don't like. That's one of my biggest fears, is not being able to breathe. So, I have this morbid fear of being allergic to things, which meant that for a very, very long time, I literally would not try any new food. No new food. I would literally be like, okay, I've had pizza before, so I know I'm okay with pizza. I've had meatballs before, so I know I'm alright with meatballs. Like, I would do that. I would never try anything new. And it got to probably 2011, I think, when I first went to Walt Disney World with one of my friends, and I was like, I can't just live off of burgers and hot dogs and pizza and stuff like that. So that's when I kind of kicked it into gear and thought, you know, I've got to really try with this, and I have to try new things. And, you know, like, I would never have eaten pesto before. Now I eat pesto all the time. Like, I would have never tried halloumi before. Now I eat halloumi all the time. It is actually a problem. Like, I need to go to Halloumi Anonymous, I swear. But I would never have done that back then, you know, before then, sort of thing. So that's kind of where it stems from. I'm kind of scared of being allergic to stuff, having an allergic reaction and dying, because that is what anxiety is. Anxiety makes you feel as if you are dying, as if something is critically wrong with you, your body is shutting down. It's horrible. Now, there are all different types of symptoms that people get of anxiety. Depending what kind of attack I'm having, I will have an attack where I feel dizzy, where I feel like I'm going to pass out, where I just don't feel right and everything's on edge. I'm on edge. I don't like it. I want to get away from it. And then I have the severe panic attacks where I will get chest pains. I will get pains in my throat. It will feel like my throat is closing and I can't breathe. And that is my biggest, like, fear. That is the one that, like, that is my worst anxiety attack, worst. And when I have an anxiety attack like that, I can't continue eating. And it kind of sucks because I went out on a date with someone, like, sort of at the back end of last year, went out on a date. And I don't really date often because, you know. So I went out with this guy on a date and I had a massive anxiety attack. I wasn't even like a quarter of the way through my meal and I had an anxiety attack, and I honestly thought I was going to die. I thought they were going to have to call an ambulance. I was in the middle of a restaurant, and it's that constant battle because you don't want to cause a scene in front of like a whole restaurant full of people, but at the same time you honestly feel like you're going to die, like you are going, you know, you need medical assistance. So I kind of said to him, because I kind of preempted it and said, hey, you know, I do have anxiety and stuff, and, you know, sometimes this happens and blah, blah. And he noticed that I wasn't really eating and my tics were getting really bad, and I was, like, just pushing the food round my plate. And he was like, oh, are you alright? And I said to him, I'm having a really bad anxiety attack at the moment, you know. And he turned round to me and he went, yeah, but what are you panicking about? And that for me is just a deal breaker for anyone, because I'm sorry, mate. If I knew what I was panicking about, I wouldn't be panicking, would I? Yeah. And I get that people, like, they don't know because maybe they've never met anyone with anxiety, maybe they've never suffered it themselves. I get that, but it's comments like that that annoy me. Like, if I knew what my panic attacks were stemming about, then, like, fully, because, you know, anxiety is illogical. It doesn't have a pattern sometimes, and I was like, I don't know, but you're really not helping me right now, so, you know, so that was a bit of a problem. And that's what I faced with a lot of ex-boyfriends. That's ultimately why, amongst other reasons, that we've ended up breaking up, because they just can't, they can't handle it. They can't handle someone who has anxiety. You know, it's always, well, stop panicking then. Oh yeah, whoa, gee whiz, I'm cured now. Thanks for that, never thought of that before. Cured. So I need someone who can tolerate my anxiety, to be honest, you know. Which luckily my new boyfriend can. I'm very, very lucky that I have my new boyfriend, as much as he irritates the ever-living life out of me. But I mean, he wouldn't be my boyfriend if he didn't irritate me, right? That's how it works. So, but with anxiety, he is really, really good. Like, we went out to meet his friends and I was super anxiety cucumber, and he literally sat in the car and said to me, look, I don't know how anxiety works, but if at any point you do feel like, you know, you can't cope, you need to get out of there, I will drive you straight home. Like, no questions asked. Like, all you need to do is, like, tap me on the hand or, you know, make a signal or something, and I will take you straight home. And I have never ever had anyone in my life who has done that. Like, partner-wise. Like, obviously family are different, friends are different, but, like, partner-wise, I've never had that. And just instantly, like, 100% even more attractive to me in that moment. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's super cute. It's cute that he's acknowledged the fact that he doesn't know anything about anxiety, but he's still willing to help you. He's willing to be like, look, if you can't cope, that's fine, no questions asked, I'll take you home. And that's what I need. I need someone who can understand me like that. It's like, that's one thing that my anxiety stems from. A second thing that it stems from is I don't like going into crowded rooms and having to find people. Do you know what I mean? Like, if someone says to me, hey, we're all going down the pub, do you want to come? Yeah, I want to come. I want to come to the pub. That's fine. But you need to meet me outside, because I don't like walking into a pub and having to search for people. I hate that feeling of feeling lost and looking lost and sort of having to look for people. Like, my eyesight's not great anyway. Like, let's just put that out there. My eyesight is not great. So I can't, like, it's really difficult for me to find people, and then that makes me, like, really nervous and anxious and stuff like that. If it's a place that I go to regularly, then it's not so much a problem, because I know the entrances, the exits, the layout, I know everything about that venue. So that's not too bad, because I kind of like, I know my way around. But again, and I'm going to use my new boyfriend as reference, when we went out for our first date, he lives about 40 minutes drive from where I live. So he said, hey, you know, I want to take you out and so go have a drink with you. And I was like, okay, cool. And he texted me last minute, because he's a spontaneous cucumber and I'm an anxiety cucumber, so I mean, you can see how well this is working, right? So he texted me, like, last minute on my lunch break at work and was like, hey, like, I fancy going out for a drink today, you know, first date, come have a drink with me. And I was like, okay, where? Like, oh dear God, because I really fancy my boyfriend. Like, I fancy him even now. Like, he's gorgeous and he's such a lovely person when he's not annoying me. So sorry, that's the misanthrope in me. Anyway, so he texted me last minute, come meet me. I was like, where? And he suggested a pub that's halfway between both of our houses, right, which is fine. But it's a pub I'd never been to in a town I'd never been to. And I was like, oh my God. So I texted him back and was like, I'm really sorry, but you know that I suffer from anxiety, and that's something I just can't do. I can't go to a village I don't know and meet you at a pub that I don't know. It's like, no, I just can't do it. And I had to be honest with him. As much as I liked him, as much as I wanted, like, us to be a thing, I had to be honest with him about it. And he was fine. He was like, well, where's good for you? So I said to him, well, I'll come to your town because I go to his town quite a lot anyway, because I go shopping there. So I was like, I'll go to your town and I'll meet you at this place, because it's a place that, again, I go to all the time. When I'm there, that's where I go and eat my lunch. Like, if I'm with friends, if I'm with family, that's where I go eat lunch. So I know that venue 100%. And he was fine with it. He was like, well, yeah, that's fine if you're sure. Like, it's just, I thought maybe we would do something halfway in between so that you don't have to travel as far. And I was like, I don't care. Like, it makes me more comfortable to know the place that I'm going to, rather than me having to meet you somewhere that I don't know. So that was fine. Now the funny thing is, I never told him where to sit. Like, I never sat there and said to him, hey, can you sit here? Or I never said to him, I'm going to text you when I arrive and you tell me where you are, which is what I normally do with people, because I'm trying to not do that anymore. I'm trying to kind of be a bit more independent with it, and a bit more like, okay, I'm going to force myself to go in and I'm going to look for that person and it's going to be fine. Well, the good thing is, because he is so intelligent, thank God, and so like caring, he made sure he sat somewhere so that the second I walked through the door I could see him. And that was a conscious thing, because he said to me when I, like, you know, when we sat down, we started talking, ordering drinks and stuff, and he was like, did that help? Because I thought maybe that would help if you could see me straight away. And I was like, yeah, it did. Like, you did well. Thank you for that. So it's nice to have someone who thinks about stuff like that. Because in the past, and I'm not going to mention any names, but in the past I've had a boyfriend who was meant to meet me outside of a venue when our friends were having a party, and I even texted him to say, I'm leaving the house now, can you meet me outside, because he was already there. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. Never bothered, never came down, never met me. And like, I was this close to just going home, because I was like, I can't deal with this. And luckily one of my other friends from work was there, and he spotted me, and he knows what my anxiety is like, and he literally turned around and was like, oh, there you are, oh, I've been looking for you, and made out to everyone like we had arranged to meet and we hadn't. And he was like, oh, you know, thanks for waiting for me, you know, thanks for meeting me, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. And he walked me up into the venue, because my own damn boyfriend couldn't be bothered to come down and meet me. That is just, that is unacceptable right there. Never be with someone like that, guys. Tea. Anyway, never put up with that. Because if you can't have a partner who at least tries to help you, like, I will help anyone. I am the kind of person, I will be your support system if you need me for anything. But to not have that in return kind of sucks, if I'm honest. So, he lasted 6 weeks. Yeah. Anyway, so they are the two biggest areas that my anxiety stems from. But again, there's a lot of people who think that anxiety stems from like the fear that people aren't going to like you. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. If I cared, I would wear makeup every day, I would have a spray tan, I would conform to beauty norms, I would have my nails done every day, I'd have a normal colour hair, I'd wear normal clothes. I know I look pretty normal today, to be fair, because I've just got like a check shirt on and a pair of jeans. But look, I have some crazy outfits and I love them. But that's the thing, a lot of people think that it's because you're scared that people won't like you. I really don't care. I don't care. I am me, I have always been me. It's just the way I am. If you don't like me, that's fine, just toddle off. I tell you some things that I kind of try to do to help myself, kind of thing, because I've got a few like techniques. But I do what's called the 5-5-5 rule. Now, if you haven't heard about this, it's something that's not very well known of, I think, and I've kind of adapted it. But the 5-5-5 rule is that you pick 5 things that you can see, 5 things that you can hear, 5 things that you can touch, right? Sometimes you can even do 5 things that you can smell, things like that. It's all to do with senses. So, for example, we're going to go back to when I met my boyfriend's friends, and I had a massive panic attack at the table, but I didn't tell him because my mama didn't raise no quitter, and I just didn't want to kind of be like, you need to drive me home, because we had literally been there for half an hour, and I was not going to ruin his night for him. You know, I am that kind of person that will suffer in silence, unfortunately, because I don't want to ruin other people's time. So that's just kind of who I am. But anyway, so what I did was the 555 rule. So for example, in the pub, we were in a little old country pub, so 5 things that I could see. I could see a candle on the table. I could see the ornaments that they had on the windowsills. I could obviously see my boyfriend who was sat across from me. I could see the cat that they had. They had a little pub cat, a little black and white sort of cat, which was very cute, and I wanted to take her home with me. And I could also see, what was the other thing that I counted? Lamps. That was it. They had really weird lamps, because I was like, they are strange lamps. But yeah, so I was like, okay, so I was clocking all those 5 things. So you clock the 5 things, you're like, okay, I can see that. And you breathe sort of, you know, you try and level your breathing out while you're doing it. So I was like, okay, they're the 5 things that I can see. Now, what 5 things can I hear? Okay, so I can hear ambient chatting in the background. That's fine. I can hear people in the kitchen who are clattering around with plates. That's fine. I can hear someone's phone that's just gone off, and it's a really, like, annoying ringtone, you know, but I can hear it. That's fine. I can also hear the cat meowing because it wants some of the food that they're serving to some of the patrons. And I can also hear outside the gravel where there are cars coming and going. I can hear the tyres on the gravel. So they are the 5 things that I can hear. Okay, right. Now what 5 things can I touch? So I can touch the table. That's fine. And I will touch the table. I don't touch everything because obviously you can't. It looks a little strange if you're out. So let's try and do it covert. So I can touch the table, that's no problem. The cat's just walked past, I can touch the cat, you know. Obviously be careful because, I mean, you know, you don't know if that cat's going to bite. But I can touch the cat, that's fine. I can touch my plate because my food has arrived, so that's the 3rd thing. I can lean over and I can touch my boyfriend's hand because he's there. So he keeps me grounded, he's like my anchor. So I can touch my boyfriend. That's number 4. Number 5, I can touch the little candle holder because, you know, it's right there, so I can touch the candle holder. And I can kind of get away with that without his friends kind of clocking that I'm randomly touching things. So, they're the 5 things that I can touch. Now, luckily that was enough this night to kind of anchor me in the situation and anchor me in that moment so that I can be like, okay, I'm here. I'm here, it's fine. I'm with people, nothing is going to happen, you are a healthy person, it's fine, it's all in your mind, it's in your mind, just try and, you know. Also what I tend to do is I have usually, I don't have it today, but I normally have, if I'm going out, a hairband on my wrist that I can ping, just to sort of, you know, give myself something else to kind of concentrate on. So I'll be pinging my hairband a lot against my wrist. Anyway, so that's kind of, that's my whole anxiety thing. This is a very long video and I'm super sorry about it. But, like, I just want to drop in here. Yes, I do have anxiety. Yes, you know, I am a bit misanthropic and all that lot. But honestly, if any of you guys see me out and about, do come up and say hello. Just please don't scream and shout and jump around, because I am a little bit like, you know, like, what the hell, when people do things like that. Not mentioning any names, Reese. Yeah, thanks Reese. No, I'm joking. Reese, I love meeting you, I did. Outside of the Disney store. No problems, but you were a little bit excited, bud, and it kind of threw me off a little bit. So if I was a bit like, okay, when we met, that's why, because you were a little bit excited. So as long as you're not all like jumping around trying to grab at me and stuff, it's all good. You can come up and say hi, I welcome it, I love it. No problem. Like, in the future, if I, you know, grow this channel enough and I have enough interest, then I might do a meet and greet with people. That would be hilarious. Oh dear. But, you know, no, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, like, I fully endorse people coming up and saying hi and what have you. Just, yeah, please don't be, like, crazy about it. Because I will probably, like, Okay, let's just get this on the for reals for a second, because you all know that I'm always on the for reals with you. I have a stronger fight reaction than a flight reaction, and I thump people. It's not a good thing. It's really not. I'm trying not to be that person. But my fight reaction is just so strong. So if people kind of run up to me and sort of try and grab at me or try and like jump on me, I will punch you. So please don't do that, because I don't want to thump people. I really don't. But at the same time, I hate being grabbed at. People continually try and grab my hair because they're like, oh, your hair's so pretty. And it's like, stop it. Do not touch me. You have no right to lay your hands on another person. Like, no. But just my advice, if you don't suffer from anxiety yourself, please don't tell people to snap out of it. That doesn't help anyone. Please don't ask them why they're panicking. If anything, say to them, is there anything I can do for you? Like, are you okay? Do you need me? Is there anything I can do? Now, some people want to be left alone, and that is absolutely fine. I am that person who, I want you to talk to me. I like the sound of your voice, especially, like I say, my boyfriend and my best friend, like, you know, like I will say to Emma, just keep talking to me, just keep talking to me, because I like the sound of my friend's voice, because it's there. But I'm not the kind of person who wants to be touched in that moment. I want to just kind of sit back and I want to listen. Now, on the flip side of that, I have friends who suffer with anxiety who they need a cuddle. They need someone to literally wrap their arms around them and hold them in place and be like, you're okay, you're okay. I'm not that person. No. So just ask people if there's anything you can do to help them, that kind of thing. Don't just assume that you need to be grabbing at them, you need to be touching them, you need to be stroking them, you know, oh, you'll be okay, you'll be okay. Just don't assume. Every anxiety sufferer is different with how they cope with stuff. So just always sit there and be like, is there anything I can do for you? Also, try to be a little bit patient. If someone says to you, I can't do this, I find this hard, I just can't cope with this, don't just sit there and think to yourself, oh, they're only saying it because they can't be bothered. Like, sometimes I can't do things. I can't go to someone's party because I'm gonna be on my own, because I don't have anyone to go with and I only know those two people. You know, I can't do that. But always be honest. If you are an anxiety sufferer, always be honest with people. Don't sit there and say to yourself, oh, sorry, I can't make it to your party because I've got to go and wash my dog's hair. Yeah, that's why. Like, don't make it up. I couldn't make it to two of my friends' engagement party this last Saturday because my anxiety has just been terrible and I was going to have to go on my own and I only knew them two, and it was very awkward. And I just messaged her and said, look, I just can't. I'm having a bad, like, mental health week with my anxiety. It's really bad. I just can't do it. And she was absolutely fine. She was an absolute star, bless her, and was like, it's fine, that's absolutely fine, you know, we think a lot of you, and I think a lot of them, obviously, as well. And that is what you need. You need someone who is going to sit there and say, don't worry about it. Not someone who's going to sit there and say, well, you're meant to be my friend, so you have to come to my party. Like, you've just got to understand that there are certain things that people can't do, but they're trying. So I'm trying to better myself. Hopefully I'll get there. I would love to do a solo trip to Walt Disney World at some point, but I just don't think I'm there yet. I really don't. Sometimes, like some days I'll sit there and be like, I could do that, that's not a problem. And then other days, nah, I can't. Anyway, so that's all I have for you. My camera battery is dying. Yay! So hopefully you enjoyed this video, hopefully it helped you. If it did, then go ahead and give it a big thumbs up for me. It really helps me make more videos for you guys. Also, if you haven't already and you feel like you would like to, go ahead and click that big red subscribe button for me. It really does make me feel warm. And until next time, guys, I'm going to check you later. So check ya!